It's very easy to build something that people are willing to use for free. Can someone willing to pay for this feature? So I wanted to do a quick video and really just share some of my thoughts and some tips and some learnings I've seen actually whenever I see founders, building any sort of a web or mobile application, and some of the things inside that I can certainly share from 15 plus years building applications. I mean, single-handed within our software side of the company, I have built and deployed at least 100 applications. These were like mobile apps, desktop applications, web, and more. And some of the things which might be very obvious, but often get missed actually from founders. So first and foremost is to starting by, why are we trying to do what we're trying to build? Whether it's a feature or whether it's a whole startup. So getting really clear on the why is very important, and sometimes it gets missed. We may have a why at the beginning of building the company, which is perfectly fine. But then as we're building features, we start stacking more and more features. So I always want to advise by okay, why are we trying to build this feature? What problem are we trying to solve? And are we really trying to solve a problem? And so common issue I see, founders think this is a problem, but it's actually might have not be as a big a problem as they think. So one thing I always advise is, can we get a quick validation? So what do I mean by that? It's very easy to build something that people are willing to use for free. Can someone willing to pay for this feature? So obviously it's not always that easy, but what I would like to do very quickly is to get a quick on a Zoom call or Google Meet call with some potential clients and say, hey look, we're building this feature, what do you think? And this is going to solve this problem for these type of use cases. Do you think that's going to be valuable to you guys? And they're like, oh, okay. Sometimes they don't know, right? You're an inventor, so you're coming up with new features, new company, new startups. So sometimes your clients, they don't know, right? Which is fine. You should listen to your clients, but they should never be your dictator of how you innovate, because you need to bring up the solutions for problems that they don't even know about they have, and then sometimes problem that they already have. The challenge is, in today's industry, there's so many different software products out there that it's almost impossible to find something that there's no solution for it already. So no matter what you look at, somebody somewhere already built a solution for it. So my first advice always is okay, can we get a validation? All right, so now they say, okay, yes, that is actually a really sound idea and I could definitely use it. Okay, so then what I would try to do, I would try to build this in a very, very light version of this feature, and I'll hand it over to them very quickly, within maybe 2 weeks to 3 weeks, not to spend more time, less than a month for sure. Give them that feature, let them use it for 2 weeks, and then I will ask them, bring them on a call, what do you think, feedback. Okay, then I would ask them, what is that feature worth to you? We're thinking to charge X for this feature. What do you think? So now you're asking the client how much you should be charging. And that simple technique, if you just talk to your clients, talk to your users, if it's B2C or if it's B2B, talk to your B2B clients and ask them, what are you willing to pay for this feature? It's so powerful. And then as you build the feature up, very important, don't get too caught up about the design phase. I often say this, if you're building a feature that you're going to have less than 100 companies, maybe you have less than 300 users on it, making the best looking UI, the best user experience, it's really not relevant, because you're going to spend so much energy. You could be spending 6 months on the whole design process and the development process and making it so perfect. Before you know, you don't even know if they're actually going to use it or not. Or if they do use it, maybe they're not willing to pay. So polishing of the site, polishing of the app, of the feature, it will bring much more return on investment when you have a lot of users in it. Until you have a lot of users, spending time too much on designs flow, spending time too much on making it really perfect, it's not good return on investment. Now, of course, if you are a startup that you've got hundreds of millions of dollars, that's a different story. I'm primarily speaking to startup founders that is somewhere between 50,000 euros to about 2 to 5 million euros. So if you have this kind of budget, then your money is well better spent, not on developers, coders like us. Your money is better spent on growth of the product, sales and marketing. Then once you do that, now they start selling the product more. Now development comes in. Now we build, enhance the features, and those features are going to be a lot more, more defined for those users. The other thing which is really important is, if you're a startup trying to solve a problem, from my experience, if you try to solve problems for, let's say, larger companies, or let's say solve problem for rich people or successful people, then usually that can bring you a much higher return. But then you're going to have to spend a lot more money upfront. So it really depends what you're looking at. I would always try to, at the early stages, to not founders, find great experts, good software engineers, give them ownership and some stake in the game, and let them use their imagination and what's the best at. And you focus on the growth of sales, marketing, fundraising. Now that's a really good combination together. So these are some tips which are really, what I see, some very small stuff, but makes such a big difference, believe it or not. All right, if you like this content, like it. We're gonna pause for a second while I'm having my shake. If you like this content, share it and give me some feedback in the comments. Much appreciated. All right, until next time, see you.